Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our maintenance videos today. We're going to start off with a timing belt replacement on a Subaru EJ25, more specifically 2006 to 2011 VVT engines, or variable valve timing engines. This process can look a little overwhelming at first, but with a little bit of research and a few good quality parts, you can turn something that looks difficult into something definitely bearable. Now, one of the main concerns spoken about on a lot of forums and Facebook groups is the quality of the timing belt sets that we're now getting from aftermarket companies. One option is to go OEM, and you're looking at $300 to $400 for a complete timing belt set, including a water pump. There's a few options and avenues we can go to save some money here and still get close to OEM quality. Up until the last couple of years ago, you could buy yourself a Gates timing belt set, which would actually include all the good quality Japanese bearings, Koyo bearings, NTN bearings in a Gates kit. There was a shift in their supplier, let's say. For the longest time, you'd actually get a Gates box listed with all parts made in Japan. But when you opened it up, you'd look at the idler gears, they said made in China. So there was a section of time there that people were having problems with the geared idler pulley on the timing belt set. I found a solution. It's a little bit more expensive than the Gates, but not quite as expensive as the OEM. This kit right here. This kit right here is an ASIN kit. Inside, you get your instructions for proper belt routing. You get a good quality timing belt. You get, just like the OEM, an NTN branded bearing. For your tensioner. You get an NSK bearing, another NSK idler, a good quality water pump with the metal impeller, and all the gaskets needed. Water pump gasket. It's actually a really good quality timing belt set. I haven't had any real problems with these at all. Put that aside. Next biggest debated topic is your gasket sets. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of haters out there for this, but this kit can save you a lot of money. It's a Fel-Pro kit designed for the later Phase 2 EJ25 motors. Now, I don't use the complete kit. I pick and choose what I like to use out of here. First of all, I'm a giant fan of the Fel-Pro multi-layer gaskets. They're excellent. There's a few other manufacturers out there. A lot of people like to push the factory metal steel gaskets. There's a few companies called 5-Star out there. They tend to be extremely expensive. These gaskets have never failed me, and I think they work extremely well. What I mean by pick and choose is I'll use things like Fel-Pro's intake gaskets, no problem. The new cam caps for the end of the heads, I'll use. These gaskets right here are used for the variable valve timing solenoid that goes on the front and the back of the heads. Exhaust gaskets, I'll use the valve cover gaskets. And again, if you have an EJ25, a few California models, I believe, have the tumbler valves built onto the intakes. A lot like the turbo cars, but these are the secondary plenum gaskets. Those are good. The things I still will not use in this kit. I will use, and I love their valve cover gaskets, spark plug tube seals. Those are excellent. Now, the cam gaskets or cam seals that are supplied with the kit are probably fine. Honestly, I just buy the Subaru OEM versions just in case. Again, I love this kit. There's two different models. Earlier EJ series up to 2005, and then this is a 2006 to 2011 engine gasket set. Okay, to the heads. When these timing belts go on the EJ25s, they're called an interference motor. Interference meaning when the timing belt lets go, there's a possibility for the valves to have interference with the actual piston. Interference equals damage. So what ends up happening is at some point you'll get valve float. These valves will be open, the timing belt will let go, which will allow the cylinder, the piston, to actually come up and make contact with either the exhaust valves or the intake valves or both. So what you end up having is loss of compression. When you try to start the car, it just cranks, and it cranks really fast. No compression is built. I've rebuilt a lot of these motors now. There's a very good chance that you won't actually have any piston damage, cylinder wall damage, any other damage but bent exhaust valves. If you try to go out and buy remanufactured cylinder heads, they're going to be quite pricey. And honestly, you don't know the stock they're pulling from. You could have other damage to the head that got sent through the rebuild process. I just don't trust them. If you know the motor you had in it at the time when the timing belt actually let go, I recommend taking the heads off, taking them to a good quality rebuild shop. I'm sure there's plenty of reviews. We can talk to people on the forums or the community pages, people who the people trust. I have a machinist that I use locally that I love. The guy does a great job. He does a lot of work for the other Subaru shops in town. So what's going to entail is you're going to need to take your cylinder head off. You're going to take your intake off. You're going to take your exhaust off. Pull the valve cover. Pull the cams. And you're going to take this cylinder head in. What he's going to do is he's going to pull the valves. He's going to tell you which valves are bent. Now, again, there's two different avenues you can go here. You can go aftermarket. Aftermarket valves might work just fine. I don't trust them. For the cost comparison to even do all 16 valves on a Subaru head, you're looking at $350 from the Subaru dealer to get OEM valves. What they're going to do, they're going to put new valves in, do a valve job, clean up the heads, and they're going to deck this head surface down to a particular RA value for metal multi-layer steel gaskets. Again, when you get this back from the machinist, they're going to look clean. They've been gone through. Head surface is nice and clean. You know all your valves are seated. Again, this job can look overwhelming to some people. I think if you look into it, you can save yourself quite a bit of money doing this yourself. I hope that helps you understand what's entailed in actually replacing a timing belt set. The next couple videos we're going to post is actually doing the job. I'm going to try to link as much as I can, factory data, torque sequences, torque values, to try to make this a little bit easier for you. Hopefully I can get it done to 2 to 3 parts. We don't know. So, hang in there with me, and we'll see where we can go from here.